Hey everyone, welcome back to the Learn with Pigos. In this video, we're going to host a .NET 8 Docker API on AWS Fargate, fully serverless. Now, if you're tired of managing EC2 instances or setting up Kubernetes, AWS Fargate makes it super simple. We just give you a Docker image and Fargate runs it. Also, if you have not seen my previous video where I explain how to Dockerize a .NET 8 API and push it to AWS ECR, if that out first, I've put the link in the description. All right, let's get started and learn step by step, and I will explain why we do each step to make it easy for everyone, whether you are a beginner or an experienced person. So first we need to create a cluster in the ECS. So what is a cluster? A cluster is a workspace or a group of containers. It's a place where ECS will manage and organize our application. Even though Fargate handles the servers behind the scenes, ECS needs a logical space to keep track of all the running containers, and that's what a cluster is for. So now let's create a cluster. So we want to click on the Create Cluster button. So let's put the name as, the dev cluster for the sake of simplicity. And here we have two options to choose, whether we can choose the AWS Fargate or the Amazon EC2 instances. If we choose the Amazon EC2 instances, you need to, manage your instances manually. So that's why we choose the AWS Fargate Serverless. And to monitor the encryption tags, if you have any you can put, and we'll create the cluster. So it will take a few minutes to load the cluster and create the cluster through the CloudFormation template. So till then, we can wait a little bit. While the cluster is being created, we can create the task definition. That is the next step to do after creating the cluster. So we can name the task definition as Demo Task Definition for the sake of simplicity. And you need to select the AWS Fargate option in the list. And let's select the 0.5 vCPU as our Docker images, a pretty much simple one. And the task role should be the ECS task execution role. It has a certain permissions and policies attached. When you are free, please take a moment to look on that one, and you need to provide the image URL, the Docker image URL. From the last video, you can see that I have uploaded a container image into the ECR. So I'm copying the image of that container and pasting it right here, and then providing it as a demo name for the sake of simplicity again. And the container report that I'm exposing in my Docker image is 8080. In your Docker image, it may be different, so please take a look on that one. And if you scroll a little bit, you can see the environment variables. If you have any, please feel free to add those environment variables. And finally, scroll down and click on Create button. So this will create a task definition for us. While it's being created, we can go to the cluster and see what's inside those clusters. So now we have our cluster created, and we are inside the cluster detail page, and we can see a services tab. So this is the thing that we are going to create next. But what does a service do? A service makes sure your app keeps running. If your container crashes, ECS will restart it automatically. It's more like a babysitter for your application. Also, if you want to handle more traffic, you can tell ECS to run 3 or 5 copies of your application, and the service managers all of that thing for you. So let's go and create a solution now. So click on the Create Service button. So wait until we are redirected to the service creation part. Keep the first part as it is. And here you need to select the task definition that we have created a moment ago and click on the latest revision that you have created. And you need to provide here a service name. Here that I'm providing is Demo Service. And if you scroll a little bit, you can see a desired task. So this is the number of copies that is going to be up and running for the application. And if you scroll a little bit down, you can see a network tab. So this is the default VPC that I have attached to my service definition right here. So if you have a default VPC, then attach it. And there's a good group that you have to select is Create New Security Group. It's the best practice that you are creating a separate security group for AWS part, this service definition part also. For the sake of simplicity, I'm allowing all the inbound and the source here. But for a production application, this is not the ideal case that you need to map the accept ports here. If you're going to use a load balancing technique, then make sure that you're checking this load balancing part. Otherwise, you can skip this part. And if you're also planning to have a service auto-scaling, Then you can also check the service auto-scaling part. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to create the service inside the cluster from here. So this will take a few minutes because this has to run in the cloud formation template in the AWS, and let's wait until this is done. Once your task is running and the services are running, please ensure that you have n number of tasks are running, that there is a number of tasks you have mentioned in the service definition are running and up. So go inside the task, and you can see there's a task running in our task table. So click on the task, and it will redirect you to the task detail page. So here you can see your task running and the details for the task. And if you go to Networking tab, you can see a public IP that is allocated to the task. Copy that IP and open in a new tab. That I have already opened here in the new tab, you can see that. And this is the port that you have mentioned in the task definition, and you need to paste that IP right here. And if you click on that, it will open the Swagger UI that is the hosted part of our API. So by this way, you can ensure that your entire web API has been hosted and it is publicly accessible through the IP. So if you want another video about how to attach the load balancer to the AWS Fargate serverless, please let me know in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, and comment in the video. For more video, please stay tuned. Thank you.